And welcome back to the next episode of my devlog series about my game Final Exit. So where we left off, I'd just been fixing some start co-routine functions on the main engine for the blocks knocking into the stop blocker, and now we're going to look at the next batch of levels. And new background because there's a new block of 10 levels. And a new block, the green one, which is the rolling block. So that basically means that rolls forever until, well, it rolls off the edge of a platform and out screen, or it gets blown up, or yeah, pretty much that, to be honest. Or it rolls onto a block that's already laying there. So for instance, this block can keep rolling until it hits the gold block. Game over. It could roll on, and I'll show you in a few other levels, it can roll on, hit stop a block and bounce off it, pause block. But if it was to roll onto a block that was already laying down, it's got nothing to bounce off, so you can actually end it. So based on all the little fixes we've done in the last couple of episodes, will levels just start to work automatically because we've fixed and converted all the functions? Hopefully, yes. So you push it and it should just roll forever. And it does. Is it going to work? It actually worked. That is quite cool. And why wouldn't it? There we go. Okay, so let's just... So, for instance, here, let's just play this. As I was saying, the green rolling block will bounce off things, whereas the yellow block, when it knocks into something, it will bounce backwards, and stop its energy. This one keeps going. So if we push this, hope this works when it falls off. It does, keeps going. As the block bounces back there, that was a bit bad. I couldn't see that, so you're always in the way. It keeps going. So, well, I've just failed the level because I made the silly mistake. This is what you'll learn is. I walked off the platform and fell down, and there's no way to get back up to the exit. So you have to learn to be in the right place when the gold block is knocked over. So it's something you learn as you go along. But as you can see, the green block kept rolling. Now later in the harder levels, you have to get the green block to keep rolling while other things are happening. So it's a good way to sort of keep one half of the level going, if you like, while something else happens. So let me just have a look at what we've got here. So this one gets a little bit more dynamic. Sort of show you how the game works a bit. So we've got a mix of the yellow normal block, which just rolls once, and the green one that rolls forever, and the sort of grey metally ones that are stop blocks. So we've got multiple ladders and whatnot, so we can jump up and down and stuff. So I know how to complete this level, so I'll just go and do it. So you just you want to make these into sort of colliders. Oh, so these levels, the front bits are all out of all in focus. It shouldn't be like that. Something's gone wrong. But anyway, the point is, you use the multiple blocks to make a chain reaction. Hope this works. Bing. Bounce off that one. Bing. The yellow one. Yeah, it worked. Now, can you see how the... Oh, God. Ignore the badly placed... I don't know why that's happened. It shouldn't really be there. But you see how this green one has stopped. If you leave the game on it, it's not rolling anymore. Because when it hit this yellow one, in the code it said, what's my next block? Oh, it's a normal block. I can't bounce off a normal block. So that's it, I'll just lay down. But if this yellow one here was a metal grey stop blocker, it would have gone, oh, my next one's a stop blocker, bounce back. It would have bounced, boing the other way. So hopefully you can start to see how things can sort of build up into chain reactions. Any other sort of... we're on to the next block. Well, before we get onto that, I don't know if... It's a bit of a cheat the way this rolling blocks worked. In terms of like the code. So actually, if I press pause a sec. So every block is probably a little bit of a bad example. Let me just duplicate these up maybe. Every block is 2 units apart. I'm doing it really roughly here. This isn't exact because I can't bother to type it in, but they're, you know, they're all equally spaced. Now, if you were to have this rolling block be done perfectly, so like under physics or something like that, you wouldn't keep this regimented every 2 thing. And the problem is because when this block rolls, this is going to be hard to do because I don't have the pivots in the right place. It does on the animation clip, but when this would roll, it would pivot on this corner here. So I can't actually do this because my pivot's in the wrong place, but what would happen is the animation clip does it. It would roll like that. You see what I mean there? And it would stay on that pivot. Then when it's rolled down, it then needs to pivot there. So the pivot actually needs to move. I mean, like in my job when I'm an animator, you know, if you're rolling a cube, you can have multiples of pivots or nulls or something like that, and just swap between which null rotates. But technically, this should then pivot from there. Now I can't do that because I don't have a pivot there. It's not set up to do that. My animation doesn't actually do that. I cheat it. And there's a couple of little silly cheats that I do. However, the point is, if this block was to then pivot from there and rotate up backwards to an upright position, so if it was to pivot there, and I'm going to have to fake this, it would, let me just roll that back. So I've got the pivot in the right place. If it was to pivot from roughly, that's where we were sort of thing. So if it was to roll back up like this, use your imagination a bit, it would be sort of here. The pivot, you know, the contact point is still there. And you can see, if every block starts on the edge of the platform there, give or takes, because I haven't lined them up properly, it's already offset. Now imagine that as rolling along, all the way along there, you'd build up this huge offset. Now the reason is because even though the length of this block is 2 units, so if we were to rotate that down, I'm sure typing in numbers would probably be a bit cleverer. You can see it's exactly 2 units. However, when it rolls, it has that side, then it rolls on that side, then that side, then that side. So you end up slow. Every time it does a full 180, you get this extra side here rolled onto. So it'd be there, then it'd be 2 units, then it'd be there, then 2 units, and you get this big offset. So you can't do that. It's just not going to work. So this may not be the most elegant of solutions, but again, it works, so why not? So I'm doing a little bit of a cheat, and it's a little bit obvious once you know what I'm doing, and maybe it ruins the illusion a bit, but there we go. So when you push this block, where are we? You can see here, you can see my pivot is at the bottom. And when it rotates up, rotates around this way. This is all done with an animation clip. As you can see, nothing's changing in here. You know, it is changing there, but it's done on it's done on an animation clip. All of this. However, when it gets to here, I don't have a pivot here, so I'm just. You can see where the pivot is on the left. Bing. I flip it. I scale it negatively and then translate it in an offset, which is, you know, the length of the block. And that's what happens all the way through. Bing, you can see the pivot change. Bing. I'm also doing another little cheat. As I said about the offset being 2, and then you get the top bit and the side bit, and so you get this offset. I'm actually being a bit cheeky and slowly scaling the block. So the scale is, if you watch the scale here, slowly changes. Now the reason that is every time it rolls, it shrinks a little bit, so it can always make sure it rolls in every 2 units. I don't think it completely ruins the game. You know, there's no real other way around it. It's just the the logic of it. So if I just go and play that again, you do kind of notice it once you're playing the game, it doesn't matter. The block, sorry, is regimented to every 2 blocks. I mean, it does look a little bit whippy. You know what, you get away with it when you're playing the game, doesn't really matter, it works. There we go. So that one works. So, I believe when we just jumped a couple of levels across then, we did these ones bouncing off stoppers, we did that one. Right, so another block here, the blue one, bridge one from what I remember. So let's just go and look at the bridge, there we go, it's a bridger. Let's see what the JS script notes, that's going to fail. So let's put on the C# one and update that so it works as a prefab for every level. Now why do you need a bridge one? Because there's a big gap. So things become harder. So the way this one works is if you were to push the blue one over, where they're using the character to push it, the blue one will rotate over, see there's a gap and fill it in with a bridge. So the script is basically saying, if you're a bridging block and you're on the edge of a platform, which means, is there any, if I'm pushed from this direction and going this way, is there a gap here of at least 3 missing platforms, and then there's another platform, so there's a gap there to fill it in with a bridge. Rotate this down and then fill in that one with platforms. You've also got to remember, if these platforms weren't here, it can't bridge a gap, so this one will rotate and fall down normally. Hence the other way, if this rotates and there's only a 1 gap, or there are platforms there, it just acts as a normal block. So the only time it ever bridges anything is if there's a gap of a certain amount and can fill in the gap. Just go push it normally. It fills in the gap. Right, obviously game over because I didn't hit the gold block. Oh, that's it still. Yeah, it's filled it in and does a little explosion, it's quite cool. But it fills it in. So for instance, if I was to just restart that. So if I was to say have that block there, and I was to push it normally, it wouldn't fill a gap in or anything like that. It rotates normally because there's no gap to fill. So why have we got a green rolling block there? Well, because we want to fill the gap in and get to the gold block. So if we push the green block, rotates, we'll hit the blue block and keep going. And we cross the bridge and it will hit the gold block. And then go complete the level. So there's something else sort of going on there as well. So let me just restart that. Just pause that. So when the green block rolls into it, instead of it sort of, when it hits say a yellow block, it will just lay into it. And if it's hit a stopper block, it'd bounce off it. But here, when this is rolling and it gets to, where are we? Just move this, it makes a bit more sense. When it gets to this point, and you know we're rolling into it, it's really crude. It knows that the next one is a bridge, but it also knows that the bridge block is going to fill the gap in. So when that bridge falls down, this green one will keep rolling normally. Now, if there was a platform there, that bridging block would if there was a gap there, the bridging block would fall down and the green one would stop. Or if there was another block there, basically if the blue block didn't fill in the bridge, the green block wouldn't continue. So this is when the code starts to get really quite complex because there's so many little ifs and buts. But when playing the game, then you start to learn that if there are a load of gaps everywhere, if you line the blue bridging blocks up, you can get a green block to keep rolling through a lot of levels and a lot of platforms and filling in the gaps, and it all stays quite dynamic. This devlog here, and thanks for watching. And again, any more comments, likes, subscribe, thoughts, let me know. And the next devlog will be obviously the next block and describing how that works and the logic behind it. Thanks very much and see you next time.